Hello, this is Goda. Welcome back to Feed the Beast Interactions Remastered. You might be looking here and asking, hey, what happened to ore processing? Well, we've upgraded. Ta-da! So I have built all of the not all, most of the multi-blocks here for ore processing. We've got the macerator over here. We have the large chemical bath, two of them over here because one of them is an ore washer and one of them is a chemical bath. That's one of the ones you gotta change the option on. We have the sifting funnel up here. And then because the sifting funnel and the centrifuge units use the same kind of casing, these are all next to each other. We have the large centrifuge unit here set to thermal centrifuge and then a regular centrifuge over here. And to hook all of this up, basically I made a subnetwork. This is just a single block ME controller subnetwork. It's getting power right there from our main network. And I am just putting a bunch of stuff into all of the buses using the OR dictionary storage buses. And you can see here, this is 510 out of 512 characters. That is because it is quite a long string of stuff I have in here. Let me pull up my strings because I made notes. Basically, I sat there looking at all of the ores and what I want to do for every single ore, what I don't want to process here, what I do want to process there, etc. And I made a list for every single machine that and every input I want at every machine slash don't want, like I want to exclude. So let me pull that up really quick. Here it is. So basically, this is the big old OR dictionary string that I have in there. Basically, it gets everything that's an OR and is not any of the things that go into the what's it called? Into the magical processing setup. And then it excludes some other stuff here that was giving me issues, so I had to exclude something about the squeezer dust. It takes anything that's a cluster, anything that is a centrifuge ore. It takes all flawed gems, all chip gems, and then it takes all gems of all types except these kind, because a lot of gems in this mod pack are actually useless. So that's what goes into the macerator. This is kind of the inverse of that one there. This goes into our magic processing one, the one that makes the dents and then the crystals, etc. And then for the actual processing chain here, this is this step here that turns the quartz crystals into the clusters. This is what we've been using for ore processing, and this is the third step in the chain. But there's actually a fourth and fifth step. So the fourth step uses UU matter and turns us into a clump. And then the clump can be put into a crucible with Desiderium and Potentia to get even more doubling of ores. So what I decided to do was, okay, we don't need like a ton of. I mean, we don't need to do ore doubling on most of the ores, if I'm being honest. But oh, whoops, I was showing that on the screen in the game, and I didn't even have the screen visible. Sorry, I was just showing here's this crystal, and then the step that goes into the clump, and then the step that goes into the crucible. But anyways, I was thinking we don't really need to do this process with a whole lot of ores. So I basically made a list of 10 ores. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 11 ores that I want to actually put through that doubling process again. And then the rest are just going to like get sent to the furnace at that point and then into the macerator with the clumps. So once it goes in the macerator, it makes a bunch of what's it called? The crushed ores. Those are sent either to the chemical bath or the water bath. So over here, this is the one that's getting the ones that are meant for water washing, and this is the one that's meant for mercury or sodium persulfate washing, this one over here. And we actually needed so much water that I made one of these multi-block distilleries and just hooked it up to obscene power so it can make a ridiculous amount of distilled water. And distilled water is worth it here because using regular water, it takes twice as long. So, our parallels would be much slower. From there, we go into a crate here. This just gets purified ores, except it kicks out the ores that are for platinum and for indium. So I kicked out those 8 type of ores. And then from the crate, we just use a basic smart filter. We do non-sifter recipes into our thermal centrifuge. We do sifter recipes into our sifter. The thermal centrifuge sends it back to the macerator. And if then the sifter over here is set up to catch purified dust if there are any purified dust. And then over here, I also have some stocking buses set up. These are hooked up to the main network because there are going to be some processing I'm going to do in these machines. Like chemical bath, we're going to do radon eyes and quantum eyes and stuff. I'll probably set up the macerator here. Didn't get to that yet. This is going to be an electrolyzer. We're going to set up stocking buses and stuff for that to process all of the dusts and fluids we need to electrolyze. So, yeah, just been hard at work here. But I wanted to do the next step on camera here because we were going to be doing something new. That was just kind of like stuff we've kind of done before, and honestly, it took me forever, so it probably wouldn't have been something you wanted to see anyways. Oh, I should once again hide the notepad screen. My bad, sorry about that. Again, a tour. The macerator, the water distiller, the water bath, the what's this one again? The mercury and persulfate chemical bath, the sifter, thermal centrifuge, regular centrifuge, the incomplete electrolyzer, and that's everything that's down there. And all of those are set up to use up to 1 amp of UV power, and our substation doesn't really like that because we can only do 4 amps of UV power. So I'm either gonna need to upgrade the I'm gonna need to upgrade our power if we are using that consistently. But for fun, I kind of turned off our macerator just to stockpile a bunch of ores. So if we look over here at our input bus, oh, also important thing, all of these are set to sticky. So if there is an item that is trying to go into one of these buses, it's not just going to end up in our main storage. It's actually going to stay in the previous output bus or interface so that it doesn't clog up our stuff. But yeah, I'm going to turn on this macerator now, and we can watch it go. It is crazy fast. Gets this cool little animation of the crushing wheel spinning up here. Just look how fast it's going through these iron clusters and ruby clusters. And if we look in the output bus, that's how fast it's making crushed iron. Insane, right? The crushed iron is coming over here into our persulfate chemical bath. I think we're using the persulfate recipe for this one, right? Yeah, for the gold dust, definitely. So this is using sodium persulfate, and it's washing once again really this quickly. Look at all that gold we're getting. And then the purified iron would be coming over here. It's not a sifter recipe, so it's going to go into our thermal centrifuge. Here's the purified iron being put into our thermal centrifuge. And then down here is the output of this. You saw some pyrotheum and such there, petrotheum, etc. That's because I made some primal chickens, and I'm putting their eggs in the centrifuge, in this side of the centrifuge. So it can kind of just work on those when it's not busy doing other things. And then, of course, the centrifuge iron is coming back over here. Oh, right now it's hitting all of these flawed ruby. Isn't that beautiful how fast it is? All right, now it's doing the iron. Look at all that iron dust and tin dust. Boom, all cut up. Crazy, right? And then up here we have even more ores ready to go. I'm using one of these handy chests, which doesn't actually like to suck the items out, or maybe that's the ME interface. So here we go again. Here's another absolute load of ores that's being sent through here. Vintium is a gem ore, so that's going to be going over into the sifter. We should see the sifter turn on momentarily. Sifter, we should see you turn on. Hello? Oh, you know what? That wasn't Vintium. That was aluminum. My bad. I thought that was Vintium. I should have actually looked. But yeah, just an insane amount of copper in here right now. This is probably filling up with... Yeah, this is going to be filling up with centrifuge ores over here, because it just doesn't have room to go into the macerator, so it's just going to be chilling in here. Anyways, enough about that. Let's go look at how our power is doing here. I'm a little nervous about that. Our power is doing... we're using 1.2 million EU per tick. We're going to be out of power in 7 minutes. Uh-oh. Probably calls for upgrading our power next episode. Or maybe even this episode, we'll see. But for today's episode, I wanted to get the last part of ore processing done. So we have seen metallurgy and you. We've seen these steps here up to the crystal. Now I want to do the clumps. So the clump is the final step. To do the clump, we need UU matter. To get UU matter, we have to put neutral and charged matter in a mixer. And to get that, well, we could centrifuge dew of the void. You know, that's actually not a bad idea, but we would only get enough for 10 ores for 1,000 dew of the void, and 1,000 dew of the void would take 50 resonating chicken eggs. So, and we have not that many ores right this moment, but we will be having more ores soon as we kind of process these. Naquita is going to be one that I want to process in that process, so if I put Naquita here at the front, here, get aluminum out of here for a second. So if I put Naquita up here, we're out of pyrotheum apparently. Hold up, let me go spank my chickens over here with some time in a bottle. There we go, filling up some primal eggs. That's our current source of pyrotheum. So here we go. You can see the Naquita crystals are coming, and they are getting put in this chest on their own. So they are not being processed to get sent downstairs right now because I want to double them in the next 2 steps of the process. Also, we're going to need a clumped iron if we want to get this quest reward here. So, the UU matter. Let's look at that really quick. So UU matter, to get charged and neutral matter, the way to do it is basically you have to deconstruct stuff. And basically this is like, if I understand, this is like proton soup. Charged matter is protons, and neutral matter is neutrons. So basically neutrons and protons to make UU matter. And the amount of UU matter you get is based on how dense the thing you're breaking down is. So radon is a high atomic number, so it gets a lot of neutrons. So radon is atomic number 86, right? Because there's 86 protons. Yep, that's right. I just looked it up to to double check. But there's we have some other things that are how can we say what's the best word to say it? Exotic. Yeah, we have some exotic metals in here because this is a video game with exotic metals. So we have, if I can scroll through here far enough, we can probably find Naquita. Oh, yeah? Puppy's yawning over here behind me. Okay, here we go. Naquita gives 174 protons and 352 neutrons, which is crazy. That is a lot. So this is going to be our catalyst for making UU matter and just charge and neutral matter in general. And if we want, we can also use this in a matter replication system. We can use this with a USB stick to rebuild other atoms. So if we wanted to put, say, ruthenium in here, that's all ruthenium costs, is some neutral matter and some charged matter. Bada bing, bada boom, we have ruthenium. Or other rare metals, but ruthenium comes to mind, osmium comes to mind as like very rare metals. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get one of these going. I was looking at the multi-block for this, and we can almost make the multi-block. Almost. It needs this this atomic casing, which uses a alloy called trinaquidoi alloy, which is something called trinium and naquita. And we don't have trinium because that's a fusion metal, so we can't really do this multi-block yet. However, we can go here, and I'm thinking we can just do the highest tier deconstructor we can do, which is still going to have to use LUV field generators, which kind of sucks because these are expensive. See this? Yeah, that's an expensive recipe. 2 emitters, and then we need 2 of them and a sensor. Like, yuck. Am I right? But that is kind of what we're looking at. And then this recipe here, this is a nasty recipe. I don't know if you noticed, 16,000 seconds. That's at LV though. So if we are 15,780 seconds, and we are MV divided by 2 is going to be 7,890 seconds. HV is going to be 4,000. EV is going to be 2,000. IV is going to be 900, and LUV is this tier of the machine we're aiming for. It's still going to be 500 seconds for this. 500 seconds for this. Now I'm starting to think, is that actually worthwhile? Because 500 seconds for getting enough protons to do 17 ore seems really expensive, right? And this is a 1-to-1, right? Yeah, neutral matter, charge matter. We might need to do something else. We can also use amplifier. Amplifier is made with scrap, basically. Hold on. Let me see here. How do you get this again? Yeah, okay, so we put centrifuge, either scrap boxes or scrap. Scrap is just made in a, scrap box is made in a compressor, so we would obviously want to do that because this is, actually, would we want to do that? Yeah, we would want to do that. That is more of a bonus per tier. So that's basically like potential neutrons and protons. But scrap, you get this from a scrap maker, it says. So scrap maker is a item. Anything to be scrap. So we could just make a little bit of neutral matter and then replicate it with scrap. But not really sure exactly what we would want to put in there. Also, there's a universal scrapper. I wonder if we can we like scrap like water? Does scrapping water work? Can we just put an infinite water source on this and scrap water? I don't know. Let me see if I can find any information about it, and then we might actually go back and do the Dew of the Void. The Dew of the Void chicken, if I'm being honest, because that actually sounds more reasonable than getting U matter from Nakoda. So give me a second to look up something. Okay, I wanted to just kind of get an idea of how the scrapper works. So I loaded up my test world here, my offline test world. So let's go give the scrapper a go over here. Let me just make some space. All right. Game rule, do daylight cycle false, because it resets every time I load in. Okay. And over here I have like a photofission nuclear reactor that I was helping somebody test some setup. There's actually a weird kind of limitation with it that you have to work around. It's kind of annoying, but all right, so scrapper, or scrap maker rather. So accepts all items and all liquid, and it produces 0.01, so it has a 1 in 10,000 chance for scrap, and it's plus 0.05 per tier. Okay. Let's make a UV one. And then let's see how it works with, like, water. So let's get a battery, a UV battery. We can use, I don't think we can use this one. I know, wow, I'm so amazing. We can use the energy cluster. Okay, and then this just, like, accepts any item and it turns it into scrap, right? Yeah. Doesn't have any recipes it can show me. Okay, well, it turns that into scrap instantly. Pretty much instantly. Let's see what happens if we put fluid in it. So let's get like a water bucket. Oh, okay, so it takes a whole water bucket. Gotcha. We could make a reservoir block. I actually have one of these powering our water distillation tower. And then we can use a... How big is the tank in here? 16 buckets? Let me just use a translocator with a glowstone. That should be able to output fluid fast enough. Okay, I mean, this is how fast it's making scrap, and each one of these scrap is basically one proton or neutron. So... Oh, wait. No, 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 no. That's not correct. Each of them is not even that because we have to do the recipe again. And, and then in the centrifuge, it has to give us the amplified matter. So yeah, I don't know. That just feels like something we should have set up a long time ago if we want to do this process. So, don't know about that. Let's look at other things, other ways we can get protons maybe. We can disassemble various fluids. So like, well, carbon dust, for example, I think it's going to be 6 and 6, right? Because carbon is element number 6. So deconstructor for 6 and 6, but this is only a... This is like a much faster recipe than Naquita, so let me bookmark... Oh, I can't bookmark the recipe, right? So this one, let me just write it down really quick. This is 216 divided by 360. No, wait, where did I get 216 from? This is 6 divided by 360. So this is 1 second per charge matter. 1 second for each, I guess. And let's look at Naquita. Naquita dust is... Go to the deconstructor. I'm wondering if it just scales like some kind of craziness. So this is a total of 174 plus 352, and then it takes 15,780 seconds. That is actually significantly faster. Oh. Uh-huh. Which this feels like way too slow for us to be able to use practically, so I'm thinking we're looking at the Dew of the Void at the moment. And then what about, like, we have methane, for example. Can we do something with methane instead? Deconstruct methane, 2 and 1. Oh. Yeah, that's 30 seconds per each here as well. No, it's all 30 seconds per each. Okay. Yeah, so I guess basically every single one of these is 30 seconds per every single neutron and proton, regardless of how you do it. So each U matter is... Just running the numbers in my head right now. We need 10 UU matter per ore. That means each one needs 10 neutrons and 10 protons, which means we need a total of 20. And if we have a total of 20, that is 600 seconds at LV power. So 600 seconds at LV power. That's to get down up to LUV. So that's 2, 2, 2, 2. So that's MV, HV, EV, IV, LUV. So this is 2 to the 10 power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's still like 18 seconds per ore to process. Feels really slow even with LUV. So you know what? I think we're gonna go for the chicken on this one because the other option just feels untenable. So let's do that. All right. So the chicken, Dew of the Void, is what we can centrifuge for UU matter. And we also get some other stuff in here as well. I wouldn't mind some neodymium. Barium and lanthanum is whatever. But Dew of the Void. Okay, so to make Dew of the Void, we could also do this recipe, but nah. Dew of the Void, we are going to need the resonating chicken egg. And let's go ahead and set it up over here. So, resonating chicken egg. Oh, not the resonating chicken itself. Whoopsie daisy. Resonating chicken egg. Let's just keep a stack in here. And then we need to centrifuge the Dew of the Void as well. Remind me why I have Aqua Regia in here. For platinum group sludge. Okay, but we don't have enough to process. Gotcha. So Dew of the Void is centrifuged again? Yes. Okay, so if we just stock Dew of the Void in here, like 100,000 buckets or 100,000 liters, it processes it in 1,000, and it's a pretty quick recipe, so the centrifuge should be able to knock out this pretty quickly at ZPM tier with UV overclocking, or UV parallels. Um, so now the question is just getting these eggs. So we need to make a resonating chicken egg, which I don't imagine this to be... Whoops. I do not imagine this to be difficult. Yeah, this is... maybe a problem. Hold on. Yeah, I don't have Dew of the Void, so I'm gonna have to go get some of that. But, let's just go ahead and set up our chicken egg recipe here. So, first things first, we're gonna put the resonating chicken egg mixer recipe. I'm not gonna put the program circuit recipe in here. Why do we have deuterium here? I don't think we need this. Yeah, we have so much deuterium from primal eggs. I'll just leave this in our multi-block centrifuge just in case we need deuterium. And I do have this automated, yes. Okay, so we have to put this into our mixer. I don't know why I ran over here. Oh, I ran over here because I need to set the circuit to 18 because this does not have a circuit setter in here. Okay, so that is up there. Now we gotta go get some Dew of the Void, and for that, we're gonna have to go to the moon. Give me my boots. I don't remember if I ever showed off the moon dungeon, so this might be our first moon dungeon on camera. Alright, here we go, the moon. And apparently there's just moon dust sitting around, so... Alright, so moon dungeon, I remember there was one up here. Yeah, okay. So let's go up there, and oh, do I have some kind of vessel to hold the thing in? I do not. Okay, let me go ahead and grab my logistic order. I can grab my reservoir. Ooh, voice crack there. Harsh voice crack. Okay, so let's go ahead and run over to the dungeon. I love how on the wind you can hear the whooshing of air. Alright, so our dungeon's over there. And we need to be careful in this dungeon, if I recall, because this dungeon has mutant Steves, and they are not very friendly. They do a lot of damage through my poor defensive spacesuit. Alright, here we are. Yeah, I don't think I ever went in this dungeon on camera, so this will be the first time. Random mining shop there. Okay, and we just need to find some Dew in the Void. It should be in a puddle in one of these rooms, just like on the floor. I can also look at any dungeon loot in here that I've walked past that I might have left behind. Cannot break the bedrock cobblestone, unsurprisingly. Maybe my bigger drill can break it. Here, can you break it? No. Okay, I didn't think so, but... Yeah, so I can't just dig through the walls in here. I actually gotta walk around the dungeon like intended. This is the entrance, okay. We have gone far so far. Let's see if we can kind of spot where there might be some Dew of the Void. There's some fluid puddles over here. Let's see what kind of fluids they got. Ah, here we go. Perfect. Whoops. And each one of these buckets is like some UU matter, so I might as well go ahead and grab all of this here. Did we get that chest before? Looks like it. And there's some more over here. Love to see it. I'm not going to run around and get all of the Dew of the Void in the dungeon, but I will just go ahead and grab what's nearby, and then we're going to return. We'll return after I pick up this puddle. How's that? Unless there's like a puddle immediately nearby us on the map. I'll take a quick look, though. Looks like there might be one over here. Okay, this is the last thing I saw nearby us, so I'm going to go ahead and warp us back now. 90 buckets is pretty good. Oh, you know what? I need to not have the centrifuge taking the Dew of the Void. Because it's going to, you know, like ruin the craft if it uses all of it. And then I'll need to go get more. Alright. Oh, and I need chickens over here. Shoot. Should have done that first. We want resonating chicken. 2 of them, please. Oh, no. Get the chickens in there before we're out of Dew of the Void. Okay, there we go. Because, yeah, this is just relentlessly cycling the Dew of the Void that is in here. There we go. Here's how fast it processes it. Yep, 16 in 3 seconds. Pretty good. And we should now have UU matter. So if I look in here, UU matter, yep, we have 8 buckets already. Good stuff. Alright, let's grab our chickens. Resonating chicken, quest reward done, or quest complete. Where is that chicken? Down here. I guess I need the egg to finish it. I don't know how to use under IO telepad. Don't know that we really need it that badly either. Where's the mana chicken? Not mana. Where's the one I made? Primal chicken? Primal chicken. Here it is. No, that's mana chicken. Resonating chicken is over there. Where's the one that I made between episodes? Oh, here we go. Primal chicken. Why is this not available here? Like, I obviously have the primal chicken, so why is the recipe not unlocked? FTB quest, edit mode, please. Let me see what your dependency is. Let's see. Edit. The dependency is mana dust. So which quest is that? Mana dust? Where? Sorry, where's this recipe? Mana dust. Is it in... Oh, primal dust. Okay, it's probably this quest here. Okay. Let me just make one of those really quick. Oh, it's mana dust. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's just gonna take a second to cook up now. Let me put my spacesuit back while that's happening. And then I guess I need to do this chicken, so I might as well go do that. Alright, over here, and get some eggs, or seeds. You know, I tried to use integrated tunnels to set up a system that would automatically take the chicken out, and then put the best stat chicken in, and it would just juggle the top 2 best chickens in here until we had 10/10/10 chickens. But I ran into a very unfortunate issue where the integrated tunnels cannot pull out of the dang stupid chicken breeder. I was like, seriously? That or I was like trying to pull out of the wrong sides, but like, yeah, I just could not get the chickens out of the input slot, and I'm like, okay, well, that's a bust. No matter what we do, we are not going to be able to automate that like that if it was not working. It was a big mess of variables anyways. I had like 20 plus variables because I had to get the chicken, this item in the slot, and then I had to get the growth, and then I had to get the gain, and then I had to get the strength, and I had to do that for both chickens and both slots, and it was just like a bajillion variables, and it was not fun. And I should have tested that you can actually pull the chickens out before I bothered doing all that nonsense. But I assumed because I was reading the items it was fine, but nope. Alright, this is me trying to hide the fact that I am breeding chickens on camera, and it is boring, so trying to fill the time with something, speech. Alright, here's our 10/10/10 chicken, number 1, and number 2. Alright, the rest of these will be 10, 10, 10. Alright, we got enough. Let me do 2 more as a backup pair. Alright. Backup pair secured. Also, I'm going to take my smart chickens and put them in storage over here because I don't want to have to keep running over there. Chicken. Take out resonating chicken. We won't be making more of those. Let's go to roost. Roost. And then all we have to do to set it up, don't have to do any crazy stuff here. Just stick it there. Put the chickens in there. Give it a kickstart with that. And we need to take one of the resonating eggs, put it right there, and then also put it in the storage bus. And there we go. They are gone because our centrifuge is taking them. Whoop. Go ahead and grab more of them. What is going on here? Why is this not working? Does one of these not have a void upgrade? These all have void upgrades. Why are you... Why are you not taking items? Like this translocator's suddenly not working. You know, it might be time to just upgrade the system anyways, because the translocator, I think it sends a lot of stuff through the air. So let's just get a logic cable. Let's get an interface. And let's get a exporter. Alright, interface, that, logic cable, and then a... How did I get that in my hand? Jeez. Variable card, just to export all. And there we go. And now I can probably run this operation much more quickly. And the... I mean, honestly, it still looks like it's having a hard time keeping up with all that junk. And you can't accelerate this one. Well, I mean, I know one thing that would be quicker than this. Let me reset the ID on these really quick. And no, it's not item conduits. Item conduits are not quick. Factory manager. Alright, we're just gonna, every second, we are going to take everything out of the roost collector, and we are going to put it into the frame drawer controller. There we go. Yep, see, you can't really get too much faster than that. I mean, you could have it taking it instantly, but there's no point in doing it instantly. Alright, anyways, we should have some UU matter now. Because resonating... Yeah, see, we have the resonating eggs going in here. We shouldn't have too much dew of the void. The dew of the void should basically be getting insta processed. So let's look at how much UU matter we have. Yeah, 11 buckets already. Nice. And as a bonus, that egg is also giving us Ender Pearl Dust, Enderium Dust. I guess Ender Pearl Dust is whatever, but Enderium Dust we're going to be getting from that because I have my packager down here set to collect the tiny and small piles of dust, so it will slowly be getting those and turning them into full piles. But yeah. Okay. So next up, we have UU matter. Now we do our autoclave. So we need the UU matter in here first. Let's just use a fluid export bus for that. So fluid export bus, I guess I've never automated this. And that's fine, this is not something you use often. And also there's an interface here. This should probably just be better to be an export bus as well, so. Alright, let me make sure these cables here do not connect. We don't need this conveyor belt here if we have a export bus going on. Regular old export bus. Alright, pyrotheum for you. Acceleration card. I'm just going to get 2 acceleration cards, one for each export bus over here, just because the base version is really slow. Alright, and then over here we'll give you an export, and then we are putting UU matter in here, right? UU matter, okay. Alright, so to get the ores into here, we want to... Actually, can I get an iron ore really quick? Here, hold that. Do we have iron? Yes, we do have iron. I want to stop auto-outputting the iron for a second. Grab one of the irons, stick it in here. Okay, get our iron crystal. Because before we do anything, I want to get this quest reward. Yay, iron clump. Okay, no, I don't think this clump has anywhere to go, so I'm going to, manually send it to the... Why is there a mineral crystal in here? I manually send it to the furnace over there. Crystal mineral. Uh-oh. This is not good. This needs to be... Make sure this is not in here. Mineral. There we go. I just had to put it in my exclusion filter because this is taking the crystal shards, and I don't want it to be taking crystal mineral, obviously. The crystal mineral is not a crystal shard. Okay, why did that take so long? Anyways, go ahead and finish that quest. Restores health and hearts every shank, every 30 seconds. Okay, do I just, like, hold it? It's an amulet bauble. What amulet do I have? This stone? Get out of here. We now have the life stone. This stone. Shh. Alright, so I needed an interface for collecting the items from this, this autoclave. We are going to push the items into here. And now we need to get the items in. So to get the items in, I'm going to take this filter over here and move over this ore dictionary storage bus. And we're going to put this filter. This is the filter that is catching my priority crystals that I want to turn into clumps. So now I just need to get this back in there. What is the filter for this again? Okay, I think the best way to do this without making too much of a mess is just going to be throw it on the ground and then pick it back up. I wish there was some way you could combine these cards more easily, but there's not really. Alright, so those crystals should start going into that autoclave. If they're at the front of the chest here. Let's put these at the front. Alright, enrich Naquata, go. Wait a second, where are you guys going? Oh no, don't tell me you went to the... Where did they go? Oh, they went back over here. Okay, geez, I forgot this filter is still set. Okay, let's break that and try that again. I was like, oh, please don't tell me they went to the furnace. I definitely didn't want to furnace those. Alright, there we go. There's our autoclave, and there's our clumps. Heck yeah. Getting clumpy with it. What a gross sentence. Let's never say that sentence again. Oh, and we need to make sure we have the sticky card. We do. Okay, so we are all set over here. Now we are getting Naquita enriched ore clumps. So what do we do with those? Let me make sure these are not visible on the interface terminal, though these are not on the main network, so I guess that didn't matter. Okay, so now we have our Naquita enriched ore clumps. So what do we do with those? The next step is to put them into the thaumatorium. So in order to do that, first of all, normally the thaumatorium can only remember like, I think it's like 1 or 2 recipes, and you can make these things called mnemonic matrices, which let the number of recipes go up. So yeah, normally you can only have 1 recipe, but each one you add adds 2 more recipes. So I only have 13 items that I'm putting. And wouldn't you know, if we add 6 of those, we can now have 13 items. So that is perfect. Now I need, was it 13 or 11? I think it was actually 11, because I need the infusion transfuser here. The Essentia transfuser. Because we now need to get Essentia into here, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to use the Essentia fusion provider. It also works for the thaumatorium. So let me grab that. I made a couple. Infusion provide. Did I put it somewhere else? I think I put it in a chest somewhere. Hold on 1 second. Is it up here? Yep, here they are. Let me put that in storage so I don't lose it again. Alright. So if I put this right here, it should be in range to provide... Yeah, so here's all of the Essentia we currently have in our system. Should be able to provide that to our thaumatorium here. So now all I need to do is put our clumps here. How many channels are we on this line here? This line is 4 channels. Okay, so let's put a interface here to collect the items that the thaumatorium creates. And I'm going to take that off of the interface terminal. That's just for inputs. And then I'm going to bring this cable over there. And we're going to basically want a chest to put items in. How about a crate? Let's do a crate. So wooden crate will be fine. This is going to be the slowest part of this process, but we're not going to have all of these things here all the time. I don't need to go under. We're already, well, I don't know. I'm making it very cluttered around this thing. Let me just, whatever, commit with the clutter. Okay, so we are putting all clumps in here. So clump star. And then sticky bus, so that clumps, this is the only home for clumps in our entire system. Okay, so when this system over here makes a clump, this clump should go into the ore processing system, but clumps aren't processed here, so it actually just sends it to the main system. There's a fluid, or there's a regular storage bus that just sends items that don't belong in any of these machines straight up to our main storage. So it will put the clumps into that chest over there. So do we have clumps yet? We do not have clumps yet. Let me double check our channel situation also. We now have 6 channels here. We have 12 channels total on this line. The upper section has 5 channels? Yeah, 5 channels. Alright, and why do we not have clumps? Probably because the clumps we have are in our storage somewhere. So let's go and, well, one thing I actually wanted to check really quick was power. Power is okay at the moment. Might need to go turn off some ore processing if power gets out of hand, because we've been using a lot of power and not making a terrible amount, so. Okay. So clumps are going to be a little bit annoying to automate turning into the clusters, but I think we're gonna have it. So if we go for clump, yeah. So the clumps we've made are in here. So if I just drop the clump, it's gonna put it in that crate down there. There we go. So there's the clump I just picked up and dropped. If I do that for all of our clumps, and let me also set this bus to be insert only. So whatever's in here is not gonna show up in our terminal here. So there we go. All 314 of our clumps are now in here. Now we need to push the clumps into the thaumatorium. So to do that, I'm going to just use a conveyor belt. LV conveyor belt is going to be sufficient for this. All right, and then as we get recipes in here, basically we need to teach them to our mnemonic matrix. So there we go. It now knows how to make native Naquata enriched cluster times 32. And every time it gets Naquata enriched ore clumps, it's just going to make those native enriched clusters. And Desiderium and Potentia are coming from, we have our level maintainer to maintain 1000 Potentia and 1000 Desiderium. Desiderium's coming from fine gold wires, and Potentia's coming from redstone. It takes 1 redstone and, what is it, like 3 fine gold wires per 2 ores. So that is pretty good processing. So if we look at Naquata, oh yeah, Naquata's are, look how fast enriched Naquata is going up because we're already processing it. What's going on over here though? Why are we not? Oh right, I turned off the auto output there. There we go. So how is this process over here? This process is fine. We were backed up for a long time because I actually didn't have a big enough stockpile of mana and life essence to do all of the ores I did have stored up. But now we do. And if I sort this, basically right here it's prioritizing the arc furnace. The import bus takes whatever's first in this chest. So it is taking the it's trying to take the first item in here, which is aluminum concentrated blood shard, and this is the only place shards are allowed in this network. So because that's full, it has to wait for there to be a home. Let's make some pyrotheum really quick. Pyrotheum, I think we can still make this. I don't want 1. I like 1,000 though. There we go. So it's going to use some redstone, dark ashes, etc. Oh no, it makes the dark ashes as a byproduct. No matter. Wow, that crafts very fast in our multi-block mixer. Holy. Did you see all those it just made? Okay, so there we go. Pyrotheum is now cooking up. Why do I have like this big hole in the ground here? Let me fill it in already. There we go. Don't need this cable coming over here. There we go. Clean up the floor a little. I can even get a cover here and even cover up this cable here. Look at me doing cosmetics on camera. Wow. This I'm not gonna. I don't have the correct facades for that right now though, so I'm not gonna worry about that. Actually, spoilers, I have the correct facades for that right now. Now the hard part is placing it on the correct side of this block here. How do you do this? I want to place it like on the underside of this. Do I have to like go under and place it from the top, maybe? No, that looks like it's on the wrong side of the block. Yeah, that looks cursed. Can I place it on? No? Okay, well, you know what? I am scared to break this facade. Okay, never mind, we're good. I'm not sure how to place the facade on it in this situation. Maybe if I just put a cable over here. Now I'll have like a little, yeah, there we go. I had a little branch I could place it on. Okay, nice. This kind of feels weird that these two processes are up here, but this process is very much limited by pyrotheum. Pyrotheum we have passively coming in from primal chickens. If I want, I could make more primal chickens. Why don't I just make some more primal chickens? Let's like triple our primal chickens. So let's go and get 2 more roosts. Get some seeds to get 32 primal chickens. We'll need 30 we'll need 64 eggs. Seeds, I mean. Not resonating. Primal. Am I blind? Oh, there they are. Alright. Okay, there we go. We have 2 sets of 16, so we can add 2 more roosts. I thought I took the roost out of storage, but I guess not. Alright. Primal chicken and primal chicken. Something something lava chicken. Right? How's it go? Alright. Let us go ahead and accelerate those. And then... Oh yeah, did I take a primal chicken egg? Go ahead and grab one of these, because I still didn't have the quest done. Here we go. Prime. Really? We don't have a base primal chicken? I obviously had a primal chicken because I had bred ones up, so I'm just gonna spawn one and delete it so I can get the quest completion, because obviously I have the primal chicken. Oh, 30 levels also. 30 levels is nice. Let me go collect all of my EXP and claim that. These dust rewards are kind of a joke, but I will take them anyways. And then, deuterium, that can go in our storage. Apparently that was also a quest reward? Where was this quest reward? I don't know. Oh well. Alright, 30 levels. Okay, go over here. We're going to take all of our experience out. We are going to put 30 levels quest reward, and then put it all back. There we go, 331 levels. How much liquid XP is this at this point? It's only 9,000 buckets. This thing holds a lot of buckets, let me tell you. Alright, and then let's see how our pyrotheum is doing now. So pyrotheum... So we can watch our pyrotheum here dropping in real time. It's not dropping super quickly, so I think this should be pretty good to support our situation here with the arc furnace. This arc furnace is running full speed, and the extractor's running... I mean, the extractor's running as fast as it can. Alright, to close things off for this episode, I think we're just going to go and destroy our energy with this copper. So here we go. Let's just watch this copper fill this bus. So satisfying to look at. Look at all of that copper. And it is just churning through it, like, unbelievably quickly. That copper is coming over here. What are we washing copper with? Mercury. Oh, we don't have mercury. Hey. We need to fix that. I need some mercury really quick. Let me craft like 500,000 buckets of mercury. I'm just gonna be centrifuging redstone in that, so... If we go to the centrifuge, this is the recipe. I'm using 10 redstone for 3 buckets of mercury. The other option is cinnabar, but I'm already processing all of our cinnabar as we get it, so... Oh, you know what I should do? I should put our redstone here at the front of the list, and that's going to send it into here to make the clumps, and now the clumps are going to come over here. And now, because we have the redstone clump... Whoops. We have the redstone clumps in here, I can... Let me go ahead and stick the redstone clumps in there, and now you also know the redstone clump recipe. And now the redstone clumps are going to be insane. If we thought we were making a lot of clumps with the copper, oh buddy. Oh buddy indeed. Okay, let's go and... Okay, it's already taking the redstone down here. The redstone's going to be insane. Good lord, there's 4,000 crushed copper in this cache, in the cache in the output here. Where's the redstone? There is redstone in here. It's just hasn't gotten around to it yet. It's doing all these gems. Oh, isn't this just amazing to watch? Now it's doing this Naquita enriched clusters. I can't wait for the redstone because the redstone is just you get a ridiculous amount of ore from each one of these. So that is just gonna completely obliterate the washing plant, but it's gonna be funny. So let's see what happens once it gets through these Naquita. Alright, it's doing the gems, doing the apatite, doing the centrifuge copper. Come on, get to the redstone. I am literally just watching numbers go down on a screen right now. Please. Okay, there, it's doing the redstone. Let's go. Look at this output hatch. Look how fast that redstone is filling up. Insane. Yep, that is a lot of redstone. All right, and how are we doing over here? How's the washer doing? It's currently churning through the apatite. Now it's getting through the Naquita next. I mean, at the point of washing, though, this is like the same speed as anything else. So, as you can see, though, it's holding all of the redstone over here, even though we have 11,000 redstone in this output bus now. It's holding it all in here because this is the only place crushed ores are allowed to go, or over there if it's the washable kind. That's why copper's not coming in here, because it's holding the copper over here. And, yeah, just absolutely obliterating the, just obliterating our storage. How's our power usage right now? That is one thing of slight concern. Oh. We're out of power. Huh. Didn't expect that. Alright, centrifuge, you're gonna take a pause for a while. And so is you, ore washer, and chemical bath. Actually, yeah, we're like really out of power here. Oopsies. I have caused a brownout from our ore processing. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to figure that out. Maybe I just say, hey, nobody gets any power for a little while, so that we can recharge the battery. Though I probably my actual... Okay, let's not take away my power, which actually turns off my storage system. That's probably not a smart idea. Let's turn off the sifter. Let's turn off the centrifuge. This centrifuge is okay to keep running, I think. It do be running a lot though, but it's hitting all of these eggs over here. Okay, well, like, it's through the eggs. Okay. I think this is fine to keep running over here. It's just going to be running, and maybe it's not fine. It is struggling here. Okay. I'm just gonna have to pause that as well. These are all paused. Yeah, okay. We have destroyed our power. Good job, me. Energy system still is #1 priority for providing power, but our power substation here is very empty, and we are very not able to afford running any of our processing right now. So, next time I think we're going to work on upgrading power, and it is time that we go and we do the LUV diesel generator. LUV diesel generator, just want to mention that I modified this recipe in my mod pack, and I actually went to the the GitHub and I posted hey, here's the recipe I made if you guys want to use it. They might put it in the mod pack, they might not. But yeah, we're going to be doing this, and we're actually going to be doing fuel upgrading as well. Now that we have liquid enriched naquita, we can, or we don't have the liquid enriched naquita, but we do have a lot of enriched naquita. We can start making this recipe, making that necrodratic fuel, and that's going to make our power go absolutely crazy. And we will be replacing these generators with that. Anyways, if you're enjoying the series, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I will, between episodes, I will prepare for that generator to be made, and then I will just be over here like fine-tuning ore setups, etc. But until then, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.